It is Novavax. Really interesting call out here from JPMorgan, which downgraded the stock to underweight this morning with a $27 price target. The downgrade comes following the drug maker's decision to slash its near-term sales forecast. And it really has to do on the viability of Nuvaxovid, which I actually didn't know what even was the brand name of Novavax's COVID vaccine. Basically, they're revising the longer-term outlook for that drug, basically saying that the read of the recent vaccine dynamic in the EU and the U.S. would suggest further guidance cuts are in the offing. Also, mid- and longer-term headwinds to meaningful Nuvaxovid update. So all of this, problematic, and that the balance sheet is not where it should be. So none of this is necessarily good news for Novavax, and the shares have been under pressure.
Yeah, dilutive pressure throughout 2023 is also what they're seeing, and underperforming their broader coverage universes of what they're really concerned about here within this particular rating in this call. And so for Novavax more broadly here, even as we had seen other vaccine candidates move forward and be able to be either entered into agreements with certain nations to have some of the either priority orders or just the purchase orders, if you will, that also allowed some of them the ability to take on funds to ultimately prompt some of the research, the development that was necessary to fast track what was an extremely needed solution to combat the global pandemic. Novavax was one of the candidates that was in the rearview mirror of Merck, even, that eventually had ended up kind of combining its candidate, or at least its research and development, with Johnson & Johnson to be able to just produce Johnson & Johnson. That came after Pfizer and BioNTech and Moderna and their solutions. And so Novavax was well in the rearview mirror, and it was a question of, okay, once the vaccine finally is able to be produced in mass quantity, then where would it be dispersed to and distributed throughout the world, and what would the efficacy be? The efficacy fell far behind, and ultimately that's where it kind of really had this stain on so much of the work that was done, but still relevant, but ultimately not able to get the same type of investor fanfare as the other players and candidates.
And then some. The stock is down more than 80% year to date.
Massive.
Yeah.